I thought of touching upon very specific issues of what a teacher education institute and teachers, because in this platform I understand that there are students of B.Ed and also teacher educators. So what is that call for us? The what policy is telling us in a hidden voice. It may not be audible, it may not be loud as the recommendations call, but there are lots and lots of minute, intricate, hearty talk which the policy is telling us. And I think it is high time we answer the call. We know the recommendations. These are all very, very specifically mentioned. We want teachers to address the challenges which are coming up in the dynamic society. Time, as today it's different and tomorrow it may be something else. The teacher have to change themselves to suit the requirement of the society every time. And we also know that about the standalone teacher education institute to be converted into multidisciplinary and 4-year integrated program will only be there after 2030. To do this, a network with government, private schools, liaising with school is very much mentioned, and talk of the complexes where interaction with stakeholders will be an ongoing process in teacher education also. And teacher preparation also has to use all these evidence-based strategies like the pedagogy, which is useful now. Worldwide researchers have been come into the policy to bring into action what is that which is being useful, how the teacher education program has to run, how should we cater to all types of students. So this policy has talked of inclusion in a slightly different way, not just the usual way of talking of children with the disabilities or disadvantages, also the students who are privileged with certain maybe talents or creativity or any by through any other way. There may be some students who are privileged, their interest also to be protected and nurtured. Of course, there is a very serious mention on the research in teacher education. Even at the 4-year B.Ed level itself, we want teachers as researchers. So is this policy something very new which is talking of all these things, teacher professionalism, teacher being a change agent who has to address the challenges of the society? Is this policy the first one which is talking? Of course, it is talking in some things are very new, but since 1968, the education policy, the role of teacher is unquestionable, because the education commission lines of it may be very old, but still every time I listen to that, I'm sure when you listen to it also, you get a new energy to work towards the cause. The destiny of the country is being shaped inside the four walls of the classroom. See how profound it is. Who is there in the classroom? Children are innocent. They are looking for something. And the teacher is the only person in a classroom towards whom students can look at, and that destiny being shaped is fully, autonomy is there on the teacher to do, to make the country's future. And the 1986 policy also has a profound line: no society can raise above the level of its teachers. So all these policies and the curriculum frameworks, the teacher education frameworks and the school education frameworks which has come, has given lot of emphasis on the role of teacher. We are not new to it, but definitely this 2020 policy has talked something more than these things, but it is been ongoing. It's not that this effort is beginning now. We are in the process, and all policies will always talk of the past and then come to the present. all components. If you see the teacher education frameworks from the first education policy and then the school curriculum frameworks, everything has taken into account the past, all the context and the present concerns, and then it has talked of initial teacher education, that is the teacher preparation programs. We have come a long way with our experimentation on teacher education, that is the teacher preparation programs, that is our B.Ed and BA B.Ed or BSc B.Ed, and there are different types of teacher education, teacher preparation programs in teacher education. And continuous professional development also is a huge component every framework has addressed. Preparation of teacher education professional. This is also not new, because uh, when we say profession, what is this? What is this change? A profession is, when we say profession, when a job is associated with a high quality of performance, and it is also to do something with a public service, a service angle, a responsibility towards the community is also associated with this when we say it is a profession. We know the profession of teacher has been revered from long time, especially in India. Maybe in other countries also we know about India, where Guru was given such importance, and in the society Guru enjoyed a privileged position, and that is what is profession. And the systemic requirements, what are required in the system to make what is intended to happen. So I'm just giving you very briefly about the changes which has come here. Foundational years have been added to the school education, and no hard separation of subjects like occasional subjects, and disciplinary boundaries will cease, especially when we right from the middle stage itself, and specialization in the high school stage. There is no subject boundaries. There is no watertight baskets which subject one student has to take, and introduction of new curricular areas, and pedagogic rejuvenation is with bringing in. It is not that earlier we had talks of curriculum, co-curriculum, what do we say, other curricular and all that. Now it is not activity as a curricular activity or other, art, sports, everything is being looked at as a process of learning, because it's pedagogy itself, through art, through dramatics, through sports. Content can be imparted. It is happening, but now special emphasis or focus has come on that. And of course, equitable and inclusive education with a newer dimension. Of course, the way forward is all this appropriateness of the design, curriculum effectiveness, the structure, all these are there. And how to regulate this distance open education in teacher preparation. You all know lots of institutes are offering the distance education, but how to regulate it. And there is two regulatory bodies for curriculum regulation, accreditation bodies, the NCTE and the RCI, where both of them will have to tune with occasional education also. And the other one today, which I would like to focus, is on teacher education, developing professionals. So when we develop, see, it is not new. Teaching as a profession. You all learn as B.Ed students also. What is a profession? And teaching as a profession. These are all your curricular, the units in your subunits and units in your curriculum. And teacher educators as professionals. We are looking at teachers as professionals. When we say professional, as I told, it is associated with a high quality of practice and the service done to the society. It refers to the service to society angle, when it comes, it refers to uh, the level of autonomy and regulation an occupation provides for a person to deal with the situation. Probably these are very abstract when I say the autonomy and the regulation of an individual to take decisions or to do service to the society. The abstractness I can tell through some stories. We are all very familiar with mm, doctors are called as professionals, lawyers as called as many fields are there which we call as professional fields. What is that regulation they have to do the service to the society? I'm sure you have listened to lots of stories. I have just stopped sharing the screen for a while because I thought of telling you some instances, maybe some instances which become stories by virtue of the impact it has made on society. I'm sure you all have your own stories. I have my own stories, but I'm keeping my stories aside and I'm just telling some familiar stories. Some of you may have heard of these stories, which are not, which are very familiar to all of you, which are running in the uh, society, some teachers or somewhere you might have heard of. The first one I want to tell about what happened in Florida because right now I am here, I'm associating it more because probably when I heard this, this is about a courtroom scene where a judge and the convict. We can imagine a courtroom scene and the judge is reading out the name Mr. Booth, and he is accused of robbery, speed driving, then hitting something and while driving, and he is in the courtroom. And while um talking about the case, the judge suddenly realizes something, and she says, "Did you study in this school? Did you go to high school here?" Then her name also, Glazer, prompts something in Mr. Booth, and he says, oh my God, you. And the judge also says, oh, she imagined the situation. It may not call for a very personal space for people to talk about the personal instead, but Glazer will say, oh, you were a very good kid in the school. You were good in maths. You were such a good football player. I used to play football with you. You used to teach me football. Then she will try to uh, when she is saying reading out the final judgment, it was like uh, he had to pay some money, but his family or he were not able to pay the money, and he had to spend time in the jail. While saying that, she will say, with all your goodness, with all your abilities, I wish you lead a lawful life once you come out of the jail. And he was sent to jail, and for his good behavior he was released after 10 months of his sentence. That word which he said and the kind of interaction they had in the courtroom made the tremendous change in that person, and he he decided that he is going to be positive, and it seems he is a manager in one of the pharmaceutical company. When he came out of the jail, even his classmate Glazer went to welcome him. He hugged her and he assured that he is going to lead a lawful life. See, I'm just drawing your attention, of course, to the relationship of classmates, friends, although the childhood classmates. They were not friends, but they were classmates. They knew each other. See, something good which he had done at that time, she could draw the attention. and what transformation that could bring in that person. So you think of her profession, and she had that option of doing. And you should also remember the protocols which each profession demands, and how much a person can do, and what type of an autonomy they take, so that somebody, see, improving one person's behavior is a lot to the society. The second instance is of our own in Karnataka. One Dr. Kulkarni was taking rest at the end of the day after, we know it's a long back, hectic day, and somebody will come with a lantern and say, doctor, somebody is in delivery pain, could you please come? As called to his professional demand, he could not say no. He will go with the person, and in the delivery space, he will see a girl, young girl, crying and saying that, doctor, please don't save me. I want to die. He will say, doctor's job is to save life and not to take lives. So let me do my duty. You just relax, because he understood that it was a childbirth out of wedlock, and you can imagine the trauma of the girl, and she really wanted to end her life. The doctor will conduct all his duties, and he will give 100 rupees was big at that time. Instead of doctor taking that, see, it is not money which I am referring to, but I'm telling the thought behind these things. He understood her condition, and he understood that she is not in a position to give any fees to him, and he'll give 100 rupees and say, after your some time of rest, with this he'll write few lines in a paper, and he'll give to her and say, go to this place and give this letter. So then he comes back, and that's over. After many years, he gets a call to come and open a medical college. And when he goes, he never knew that those people knew him. And a lady will come with her daughter and take his blessings, and he will say, doctor, you may not recognize me and this child. This is the child. This is my child who you helped to see life. So she says that letter she took, that was a nursing institute. She studied nursing. She became a nurse, and this daughter became a doctor. And then they opened a medical institution where they wanted to keep the name of this doctor as a name of this doctor to their institute, and all those things. See, this story is coming up in social media mainly to say this doctor is none other than the father of Sudha Murthy, who's a philanthropist, and just to relate how she got this service mentality and all those things. But I was really looking at the professional. No medical school will teach that way. This will happen, you should do this, you should. No, this doesn't come in the medical education, but it comes in the person. Any profession is being conducted, is carried over by the person, and that is what is that personal. The person is conducting as a professional. The change has to come there, and this is another one I'm telling, another story. Again, this is a real story, but now I don't know that lots of changes have happened, and probably when I narrate, there may be some errors also, but I'm not specific about the details of this, but the feeling behind it. Imagine a classroom, class 6 or 7 class, where one student will come and tell the teacher, I had a new watch, I lost it. Just now I kept it here and went to the washroom. By the time I came, my watch is missing. So the teacher was very sure the watch is somewhere in the classroom, and the teacher will say, all of you stay in the class, and he, with some help, he will check all the bags. It was not in the bag, any of the bag. Then the teacher will say, all of you stand up and close your eyes. All of you close your eyes. And the teacher will go to every student You can think of a frisking happening in railway stations and airports, where touch and see if something is there, and this teacher will touch everybody and see. Finally the teacher will say, open your eyes, and the watch was on the table, and the teacher will give the watch to the student who lost the watch. After few years, maybe 4 or 5 years, a student, when this teacher is in some place, the student will come and say, somehow he meets him accidentally in a place, and he says, namaste and all that. Then the teacher will say, I'm sorry, I'm not able to recognize you. Then he will say, he was very, his face had a lot of remorse, and he will say, sir, I am that student in your class, you found watch in my pocket. Our teacher will laugh and say, okay, I had also closed my eyes when I was doing the frisking. uh, that episode changed that person, and he said, I decided to become a teacher on that day, because teacher has a tremendous role in changing lives of people. See, you just imagine the professionality which these three people demonstrated at different times. How much of it is contributing towards the society? See, these are instances, one instances, but we can imagine as teachers how many lives we can touch in our day-to-day interaction. We are so lucky, we don't have to search for an opportunity where to go and do the service. As Gandhiji said, to find yourself, lose yourself in the service of others. See, all this Vedanta, Advaita, who am I? What am I? To know what am I want to find myself. The simplest and the easiest way is to lose yourself in the service of others. So we are fortunate as teachers and teacher educators that the opportunity is, ocean of opportunity is in front of us. We can make change in every child's life, whether we are in the primary, pre-primary, or teachers, teacher educators at a higher level. We have possibilities. You all can reflect and think of some teachers who has made a change. We don't give importance to some small acts of our teachers. Some of you do it. And as a teacher also, I know the kind of privileges, the benefits which I receive from my students. I don't want to say the experience of my own life, because some of my students are here, and I have innumerable example of experiencing love of my students, and only a profession of teacher will give this opportunity. See, we teachers have a space very, very close to, I don't even say next to, it is close to, it is equal to parents, where a child can love somebody to that extent of how they love, respect their teacher. So we are in that profession, and we are fortunate that we can bring change in people's lives. So I'm just showing some classrooms. What is that change as a person we can bring in the classroom? Most of the pictures are from the Orissa classrooms, and you can see. So I'm just showing, you can think of what comes to your mind when you see those pictures or those animations. What is that teacher's professional development call for? Some professional development calls for some support, some material, some resource, maybe technology support, anything which is provided to teachers to improve their effectiveness. Through this acquisition of skills and knowledge for personal. See, give attention to this, the personal. because skill, knowledge, the training or the teacher education program comes with giving skills, knowledge, unless that is associated with emotions. There should be a perfect combination of, see, knowledge. There is no second thought about the importance of knowledge. Very, very essential. And the skill, what is that specifically required for my profession? How do I enhance it? So the professional development is looking into all these things to give it to teachers so that they become professionals. That is, ultimately, remember, it is service, the occupation which is giving an opportunity to do service to the society. The service angle is very, very dominant in becoming a professional. And to do the service, just the skill and knowledge is not sufficient. They are important, but they are not sufficient condition. Rather, there is a need for emotion to be blended with these things, which makes one, and high ethical standards to decide whether what I am doing is right, what I am doing is for the good of somebody. So this kind of a decision making, ethical decision making at certain junctions. So do you think any curriculum can give all these things? But our teacher education curriculum has improved a lot. It has added so many components so that a teacher becomes an ethical decision maker. But it is up to the teacher at a personal level to use it in the context. So these are the requirements in the professional development program. And lifelong learning, it doesn't stop the day you become teacher. Rather, everything begins the day we become teachers. The real learning starts the day we start teaching. So through this professional development of teachers and teacher educator, what is that we are concentrating on? The outcomes, like my behavior, it is, see, belief comes through certain instances, certain experiences, certain knowledge. So belief we get. Once we get the belief, it's not enough to be with the belief, the faith or the belief we have, faith in humanity. We believe that human beings are ultimately good. That faith has to come in our behavior, the belief and behavior. So the outcome as a teacher, when I come out, it has to show in the person what kind of teacher education program I have gone through should come out. The knowledge which I have gained in the teacher education curriculum should reflect in my behavior as a teacher. And better way to teach. After the professional development program, a small change in my teaching has to be reflected, and students should feel, oh, this teacher has gone for some program. This is something which the teacher has brought. That change has to be seen by the receiver. Otherwise, I have changed. But how do I demonstrate the demonstration of it? I have to change my way of teaching. After completing B.Ed, our behavior towards learning, our behavior towards understanding the student who's learning, it should show change in the way we approach, in the way our day-to-day behavior. And our planning skill, organization. See how much B.Ed students will agree with me. Your teachers may be putting lot of pressure on you to prepare lesson plans. You understand the benefit of it when you complete your B.Ed and when you go and teach. How important it is to organize your content. Organizing content may be in the paper, but actually when you do it in the paper, you organize it in yourself, in your mind. What examples will I give here? What material will I show to my students here at this juncture? The 30, 35, 40 minutes is planned so well. That skill comes through the teacher education program. This is what is the importance of teacher education program. You do it 40 lessons. Now with the change in teacher education curriculum, we are coming into 80 lessons in each pedagogy. It is not without a reason. This makes you an instant organizer and planner. The moment you see the content, you know how to organize, what I will tell, what examples I'll bring here, what material will I show here. So with every professional development program, the organization and planning skill has to improve. The new developments, I should know what is that in teacher education in other countries or in other institutes. In our nation, what is that newness which has been added? I should know that. And knowledge in the subject area also, the new knowledge. I'm a biology teacher. I have to learn about the new developments in the field of biology or economics, because knowledge is very, very dynamic. Nothing is the same as it is today. Until it is proved, it remains as it is till a new knowledge is added to it or a change comes to it. We should know, even if the textbook has something which you have to change, we should know that, and we should be giving them reasons logically, rationally. We should bring it to the students about the new changes that has come up in the field. Of course, these are all very technical points. I'm not spending time, but I want to draw your attention to it. The NAC institutional accreditation, in their manual for self-study report, has come out with a specific set of requirements for teacher education institutes. Of course, it is qualification, recruitment process, availability of faculty in the institution, and the abilities of the teacher in performing the task. These are the parameters based on which accreditation or grading is given to teacher education institute. And teachers initiative. Is teacher is innovative what the teacher has done in the class? So in this self-study report, probably the Sailabala Women's College also has done it. And you have to document the innovations done by teachers. And what is that improvement you have brought in your... So these are the parameters based on which, see, this is all putting us towards the professionality, improving the professionality and faculty empowerment. How many programs did the faculty go based on which they have developed themselves? And the multidisciplinary perspective and knowledge. In addition, the disposition and value, I have already talked about it. And we need mentors. This was recognized. Any new teacher should look for, see, without calling it as mentor or anything, we all were lucky to get guidance from elders, experienced people around us. You should also see, of course, the nation may have a national mentoring mission. They may give the college may have something, all this. But it is not just that. We should also, as professionals, look towards others to learn, look towards others for mentorship. If you have doubt, it is wonderful to discuss with colleagues, seniors, the head of the department, the principal. They are all there with a certain virtue, and their virtue has to be utilized by the younger generation. And all these, Indian knowledge, all these are in the policy with a reason. How we become the pride in the teacher about my nation, my culture, my land, that has to be transferred to the student through the process of pedagogy, through the process of personal interaction with the teacher. And the policy specifies that 50 hours of continued professional development mandatory for every teacher and teacher educator. And the policy also, of course, this is about the mentoring mission. To do that professional development program, specific ways are given. Online modules are developed. Institutes are opened to give professional development. All these are worked out. The faculty development centers have been set up. The modules are ready. It is available online. It's only that we should be aware of it and we should use the facilities. the IUCTE also is one of the prominent institutes recognized for faculty development, professional development activities. Let us make use of these, the annual refresher program in teaching. This is another initiative. I'm just showing it just to make you aware that these are available. The NRCs are open and they are the transactions are beginning. See, these are the modules which are there. See, the Guru Dakshta, the faculty induction program, and then IGNO, UGC, that was UGC, and this is IGNO. How all these details are there. The professional development program on implementation for university and college teachers by IGNO, and NCERT also has come up with specific guidelines. What should be there in this 50 hours of professional development? Of course, this what are those elements? Like, one is it should be centered on students learning the content. What content should go in the professional program, and what context? Context is very, very critical in bringing the professional development. And it should always be with the specific school. When I undergo a professional development program, I have to keep in mind my specific school. And when I change the school, I should be able to transfer it to that. And the kind of design, what is that? The active and the sustained learning. It is not that sitting and listening. It is, of course, these are the strategies you all know. I just want to insist on reading professional literature as one of the strategy, because this is like we ourselves can do it. We are the masters. We can ruin ourselves as a professional. We can do ourselves, bring in ourselves as a professional. It is like, Uddaret Atmanatmanam, Atmanam Avasade, Atmaiva Atmane Bandhu, Atmaiva Ripuratmanam. You are your enemy, you are your friend. If you want to improve in your profession, we can look at college, the nation, everything, but there are some things, many of this, like reflective practice, developing a network. Nobody stops us from doing our own work, and we have to learn. I think I have to mention about Sailabala Das, whose contribution many girls and women in Orissa especially are reaping the benefit. She is such a lady who has developed herself to contribute to the cause of society. I think when I talk of teacher professional development, I have to mention about her, especially when I'm talking to the college, which is named after her, because it was her dream to open a girls' college, a women's college, and then we are all enjoying the benefit. Of course, what's now happening, I'm sorry, I don't want to highlight on this. We just consider something is going on, the professional development program. I went there 5 days, 10 days, 20 days, I came back. There are, what exactly is the need of the teacher? Am I sending the teacher for the specific need? And the cascading approach, by the time it comes back, comes to the ground, the flavor is lost. Lack of, we still have lack of resource materials in the practice when we go into, but now there are bridges being made, and there is no barrier in collecting information. So it is all these are attended to because online availability is there. You get good YouTube videos, you have recorded discussions which you can see and you can improve yourself, and of course follow-up also is required. Still, we wonder how to do it, why I should do it. I think you are okay, but still some of you, why, how do I do? I'll just share a 1-minute video here. It is about, of course, the person who's doing it is a celebrity. Probably Gayatri ma'am and Shipra ma'am will understand her. The younger generation may not know. I know her as a Miss India and TV actor. the kind this is a half an hour video. Actually, I have just cut just 1 minute. I'm showing to say that what kind of change some people are really doing. It is just to learn from such experiences.
Exposure for vocation. And that's exactly what I'm doing here at Lavard School. I'm doing a pre-vocational education workshop, exposing my students to 8, 9 different type of vocations. Like in this workshop, we are having pottery, robotics to make toys, visual arts, mixed media, we have photography, we have smart farming or Gai Adharit farming, and we have soap making. Now, I don't really want everybody to become soap makers. No, it's about learning things that, yes, this is a possibility. It's about introducing them to something that they are not yet. Another very interesting thing I've done is we went to Rashtriya Raksha University, and my students were exposed to the idea of forensic as a career. Isn't that interesting?
So I just showed that video to say that we say 10 bagless days, and how exactly to do it she has done in some government schools since 2008. She is doing. She is Swaroop Sampath, who's more of an educationist now. She's working in Gujarat and Maharashtra. She has shared in 30 minutes video. So teachers and teacher education institutes can learn from such things, how exactly to do it in the ground, and it's happening. There are many such things happening. We just have to learn from the good practices that are going on around us, and we should also do it. That is what is another important factor in professional development. Let us learn. Let us be open. Let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. There is no substitute to reading books. Every time you read a book, you get new insights. So as teachers, let us continue to learn and enjoy this space which we have got to be continuous learner, to be a lifelong learner, and to bring change in the lives whom we touch upon. Yes, Pranati, you didn't stop me.
It's always been nice, ma'am, when you are talking in the classroom also. It's really privilege, ma'am.
Yes, it's true, ma'am.
I always, it's my personal experience. I always used to get positive vibes when I'm talking to you. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your
This is
experience.
a honor, teachers get when students say such
Thank
things.
you, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And it's really nice when you share your own experiences. And it's just not theoretical aspect of NEP 2020. It's about the professional ethics, values we should imbibe within us. I request Sipra ma'am, I request Sangalitra ma'am to say.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Actually, it's for open discussion. We can give 10 minutes to the participant to ask questions to ma'am if they have any doubt or any idea they want to get from ma'am. It's okay, ma'am, to give 10 minutes to the participants.
No problem. It's a Saturday morning for me, but I'm only worried about you.
No, ma'am, it's okay. We are all like fine. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
If anyone is having any questions, you can ask to ma'am.
Some ତନୁ କି
Madam,
କୋଶ୍ଚିନ୍
I am having,
ଦେଇନାହାନ୍ତି
yes.
ଆମେ ୱାଇଣ୍ଡ ଅପ୍ କରିଦେବା 6ଟା ହେଇଗଲାଣି ନା ସବୁ ପିଲାମାନେ ଯିବେ ଯିଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି
Madam, more
ଥ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ୟୁ
gotte
ମ୍ୟାଡାମ
question kali madam ko.
ଆଉ କହ
Madam, I am having one question. Actually, I want to know in what way, like in teacher education program, like inclusive education, in the curriculum itself, we are having like theoretical part. Can we put the skill part of inclusive education? How to include the differently able or the diversely people? Can we put the skill part into the curriculum in teacher education curriculum? Actually, in our curriculum, we are having only the theoretical part. So I am actually the gap is there. I feel so.
Yes, Tanushri, B.Ed curriculum for that matter, any professional development curriculum will have gap between the theory and the practice. Though we have lots of field engagement activity to bridge the gap, what is expected may not come. And especially we know the challenges with Teacher Education Institute. I'm referring to this for all professions. Just after MBBS, no doctor will develop the professionalism. They have to see the best skill develops when we really work in the school. That base we have the theoretical input and the field exposure, like the multicultural exposure into the community, teaching internship practice which we do in B.Ed. All these will give a base based on which we enter into the profession, and that profession, when we enter into the teaching profession, that is the place where we can polish our skills. Of course, the knowledge has to come in. We have to read, because if I have to know about a child with hearing impairment is there in the class, of course my acceptance, my love, my care, my empathy, everything may cease if I do not know the knowledge about how the child with hearing impairment learns. That we have to, no teacher education curriculum can bring in all knowledge, and definitely skill has to come with our that empathetic practice. I told you, the emotion, we have to seriously ask ourselves, how can I make learning conducive to the child? So based on that, we have to enhance our skill. The curriculum and the program may have a limitation. We cannot cease with the curriculum and practice as individuals. I told you, right? Uddare Atmanatmana. We have to develop ourselves with a in this broad universe, that doing service to others is my motto.
Thank you, madam. Now I request Dr. Sanghamitra Konda madam to give the vote of thanks.
ma'am I had a question
Okay, Sonali, you can ask.
thank you ma'am 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 it was a very good session that you talked about NEP and teacher education. Ma'am, I had a question about, as you said that knowledge is dynamic and nowadays knowledge is very flat. It is available from any source, from internet, from anyone. So as a teacher, I had a doubt that how I will guide my students to know which is the right knowledge or which is the wrong knowledge, and how they would be specific that that from this kind of knowledge they should be learning for them. That's what I had.
Yes, Sonali, this is really a big challenge today when knowledge is freely available. And this is where the professionalism or the teacher personality comes in. There are lots and lots of discussions which are going on this. To be frank, this is the reason why teaching profession is a evergreen profession. It will not, because knowledge may be there, but how to use it, how to convert the information. Sorry, information is there. See, we see the three levels: Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. See, Shravana, that is that we have information very quickly, we get it. Manana, understand it, intellectually analyze it, get it. We have to prepare the next generation who are critical thinkers, and problem solvers and decision makers, so that we cannot help this is good for you, this is bad for you for individual students. That is where our role as teacher in making them empowered. That is why teaching profession will not fade at all. Teacher is always required. Probably in a country like America, the doctor and the patient, the personal touch is limited. They don't see personally. They send the reports, doctor will give prescription. I heard that even doctors will not touch the patient unless they enter the emergency requirement, because information is so easily available, technology is available. So there are YouTube classes, but can that make a teacher's role less? It will never make, because what is good, what is wrong, how to choose individually, and person, we have to, as teachers, have to provide that kind of a classroom environment where they become empowered to decide what is good, what is bad, what should I do at this moment, what should I do later. Sonali, it's a very, very pertinent question for the present time with the technology boom and information um, coming into every information available on your fingertips. I request you to think of it further and keep on doing what is the best a teacher can do to help students become reflective practitioners, whatever they do. I know young
Yes,
age,
ma'am.
for young children, it's really difficult. We have a greater role there.
Yes, ma'am. Like it's rightly said that Google cannot replace a teacher. So, whatever the teacher can help us to understand, we don't get that ready-made organized material anywhere else. So, always teachers have their place.
Yes, yes, correct, correct.
Thank you, ma'am.
So, and yeah, just like a curriculum and textbook cannot extend beyond a limit, similarly, Google or YouTube has a limitation, but as a teacher, we are limitless, we are infinite.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Department of Education of Shalawala Women's Autonomous College and BEd department, I extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Dr. Dorama, our esteemed principal madam, coordinator of the BEd, Dr. Sipra Rai, respected faculty members, all the participants who have joined this webinar. Really, madam, you have enlightened us with your valuable teaching, and your talk was it's a very fine one, and I, from the bottom of my heart, I extend thanks to you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Madam,
Madam,
namaskar,
thank you.
Jai Jagannath.
Madam,
Oh,
namaskar.
Yogamaya.
Yes, madam. How are you? Namaste.
Good, good.
Okay,
Oh,
good
you are
talking,
here.
madam. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, madam. Permit me
Thank
to
you.
leave.
Namaste.
Madam.